My next guest is a regular at Mar-A-Lago, and he's written about how it is now at the centre of a massive cultural shift. He writes, Mar-A-Lago isn't just the epicentre of conservative politics, it's the new Hollywood, the new Page Six. This cultural shift speaks volumes about where America is heading. Joining me now is host of Media Expose, Adam Weiss. Adam, tell me about this cultural shift and tell me about Mar-a-Lago. What's it like there?
Rita, thanks for having me. Mar-a-Lago seems a bit different. I went there last week for the CPAC Conservative Action Conference, and the first people I walked in was right away was Tucker, Tulsi Gabbard, very friendly, chatted with him for a bit. As I walked downstairs, I saw Kerry Lake, who's a larger-than-life figure, the RNC chair. But what really stuck out was I was with a colleague of mine from Silicon Valley, and she said, "Oh, that guy over there who wasn't dressed well, like in jeans, he was one of the founders of PayPal." Another investor she saw was from SpaceX. Another guy was another investor from Silicon Valley. And these weren't the usual typical people that were like establishments from, you'd usually see at Mar-a-Lago. So what happened with the Elon effect, the cultural effect, the free speech effect? It's the new hip place, the new counterculture. It's the new it place to be. And I think people are finally, it's a big awakening out there, and people aren't afraid to say, I'm conservative, I'm MAGA. And it's a big spirit, almost like a spiritual awakening happening in America.
Well, we're seeing some data coming, and even CNN were reporting on it, that the majority of Americans are optimistic about the second Trump term. They're happy with the transition team's work so far. And culturally, we are seeing this phenomenon with footballers, UFC fighters, other athletes doing the Trump dance. Again, that was unthinkable 8 years ago or even 4 years ago. It was almost forbidden to be supportive of Trump if you're a high profile individual. But now you've got athletes doing that. It is a significant shift.
I think 4 years ago they'd be chastised by the league and the owners. They'd be apologizing right away. They might have been fined. So yeah, the culture switch. People are allowed to be themselves finally, right? I noticed it was a couple of days before the election. I lived across from Central Park, and I walked through the park, and there was a Hispanic guy, young, and his dad. They both had MAGA hats on. I said, that's a rarity. Then I went down the block, an African American kid had a MAGA hat. I said, things are shifting here. 4 years ago, people were afraid to wear hats, MAGA hats in the city. And if that was happening in New York City, I said, it's all over America. It must pain CNN, Rita, that they have to show these polls on their network, and the people are happy right now with the transition work of the Trump team. But they're getting attacked, which is not fair. Most of the cabinet picks.
Now, let's have a look at some data compiled by the New York Times. There's been a big shift towards the Republicans since 2012 among ethnic minorities who've seemed to have rejected identity politics and recorded swings towards Republicans. You can see there blacks, Hispanics, Asians, all with a big boost, net shift in support of Republicans. And those with degrees, when it comes to minorities, and those without degrees have also swung towards the Republicans. And interestingly, you look at the age groups, from 18 years of age to 64, there's been a shift, a significant shift, particularly amongst young voters towards the Republicans. Meanwhile, for the Democrats, it's whites with college degrees and people over 65 who've shifted towards the Democrats. What do you make of this data, Adam?
It's amazing stats to look at, because for 4 years we've been told what a racist, sexist, homophobe that MAGA, Trump, conservatives are. Nonstop, day and night, by the legacy mainstream media. He's had, I don't even know how many indictments he had against him. Told he's been convicted, did all these terrible things, and yet young people, African American, Hispanics, saw through it all and still voted for him in big numbers. The shifts were remarkable. The Democrats always thought they owned the minority vote, the African American vote, the Hispanic vote, but the American people were tired of it. They've been bullied for 7, 8 years since Trump presidency, bullied by wokeness, bullied by political correctness, and finally, American people put a big punch into the bully. And I say the bullies, who are the bullies? The media were the bullies. Hollywood was the bullies, pop culture was the bully, and finally, American people said, "We're not going to take any more bullies," and they gave them a big punch on election day.
Now, talking about that cultural shift, Hollywood is still very much of the left. We know that. But there are small productions and some bigger ones that are coming across that are challenging that narrative. I want to play you a scene from a television series called Landman, produced by Paramount Pictures, and it's just a rare moment of truth from an industry that is really captured by the left, including the climate cult.
Have any idea how much diesel they have to burn to mix that much concrete or make that steel and haul this out here and put it together with a 450-foot crane? You want to guess how much oil it takes to lubricate that thing or winterize it? And its 20-year lifespan, it won't offset the carbon footprint of making it. And don't get me started on solar panels and the lithium in your Tesla battery.
Oh, you don't see that every day, Adam. What do you make of how divorced Hollywood is from most of the US population? Because for the overwhelming majority of them, they're not involved in productions like that. They are politically hard left. They're threatening to leave the country if Trump wins. They are doing campaign events for Kamala Harris. And they seem to just be disowning at least half of the American population.
Well, now they're disowning more than half of the population. Think about, Hollywood doesn't care about 50-something% of the American population that votes, pays their bills, spends money at the theater. And people are sick of the indoctrination from Hollywood, the advertising industry, Hollywood, the TV shows. Everything is just seen through the lens of political correctness and an agenda when people are tired of it. And they gave their message through election here. But culture switches quick, and hopefully this does put a little bit of dent in Hollywood. So we'll see, because right now there seems to be this awakening, and, hopefully it does showcase in Hollywood.
Adam Weiss, thank you so much for your time.